I've made no secret that I feel that Marvel films and TV are on the decline, quality-wise. Since Endgame, only Shang-Chi and Spider-Man were standouts despite the fact that I desperately wanted to enjoy Doctor Strange and Thor. Phase 4 also included a scheduled Black Panther film that was entirely restructured following the untimely and unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman, a man of tremendous talent beyond his role of T'Challa, who had a lot of promise. And whatever your expectations of Wakanda Forever and the very low bar that the rest of Phase 4 had set, in my opinion, Ryan Coogler and his cast and crew delivered an almost wholly original story with surprising performances from actors who had played minor supporting roles only 4 years ago. I'm Dan Umpton, and this is the Doomcast. First of all, thanks for checking this video out. I make about one of these a week and they're all fantastic, so please hit subscribe and the bell because I'd hate for you to miss even one. Listen, bottom line, Ryan Coogler is a top-tier director and screenwriter, and this more than proves it. He's done it every single time he's put his hand to a film. He's also got a solid ability to adapt characters meant for comics for children and build compelling and nuanced characters out of them on screen. Let's be fair, in comics, Ramonda, Shuri, M'Baku, and the Dora Milaje as a whole are not foregrounded characters. They're supporting characters entirely. Even Ironheart being Brian Michael Bendis' creation, she still isn't as popular as some of her fellow Champions characters. Now, these characters end up carrying the entire film. Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, Danai Gurira, and Lupita Nyong'o are at the front and center of the whole film. Wright's Shuri is grieving the loss of her brother in a painfully palpable way from the opening sequences to the very close of the film. Her and Bassett's interaction on screen is some of the most honest and bare emotional moments in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, save for the snap and the opening sequence of Endgame. Winston Duke is full of bombastic swagger and dramatic flair, leaving me wishing I had much more of him on screen. Neymar, or Namor, as he pronounced his name, was adapted for the screen as the descendant of Mayan peoples, and Coogler changed nearly every single thing about him as a character except for the silliest thing, like the foot wings and his ridiculous but awesome catchphrase, and still perfectly adapted the headstrong Machiavellianism and nearly unmatched power in comics better than I could have hoped, and as a huge Namor fan, this absolutely delighted me. Coogler also manages to excel at action direction, both in the individual fights, especially Okoye versus Atuma initially, the obligatory car chase, battle scenes which felt all necessary and not truly obligatory at all. The only character that I felt got kind of skimped on was Riri Williams, who got some minor establishment in line with her comic portrayal, but could have otherwise been completely absent from the film without real consequences to the plot, which is disappointing because both the actress playing her and the character's potential are huge. Visually stunning, start to finish. Great armor and great action sequences, but she kind of got turned into a MacGuffin. So, some light spoilers follow hereafter. If you have not seen the movie yet, please turn me off and come back when you have. Final warning, there are small spoilers that follow. Boseman's passing, tragedy that it was, opened a door of opportunity to a supporting cast to truly shine. And it's a powerful tribute to both address grief as a nation, as a people, and personally as a family on screen, as well as turning all of that into a piece of art, which is carried by black women almost entirely. Anything was on the table in this film. Any of the characters, except probably Namor and Ironheart, could be killed at any moment, I thought. And so the feeling of danger was more real in this film than most comic films. You think Batman's gonna lose, right? No. But could Shuri? Shuri could be on the table. It makes Gurira's Okoye that much more compelling. In most of the film, you're waiting for a possible heel turn from her. It makes Bassett's Ramonda, notably the daughter of Lumumba, I see what you did there, Coogler, I see what you did, that much more powerful and defiant. It makes Tina Huerta's Neymar that much more of a true threat. His motivation is ultimately the same as in comics, which is the well-being of his Atlantean people and safeguarding of their undersea cities at any cost to the surface world. But his origins as presented give him an even more powerful link to Wakanda's ideology and their universal avoidance of white colonization and violence due to vast natural resources. And that palpable feeling of danger that ran through the entire room hit me really hard at multiple points, especially when M'Baku decided to try and throw down with Neymar directly and got punched across the city, and I thought he was done. And I'm glad he's not, because both, I'm glad that there's an Okoye solo series, but there really should be an M'Baku series also. Anyway, I've got a longer and more discursive review coming later this week with a few of my friends from the Henchmen of Asteroid M, and I wanted to avoid talking a lot of the incredible points that we ended up making there together, so stick around for that later this week. But the bottom line is, Wakanda Forever might be among the top 3 MCU films ever. It's probably one of the best comic book films ever made, hands down. In Marvel, I'd put it behind maybe Infinity War, Winter Soldier, or maybe ahead of them, depending. But as far as pure acting performances, this might be number 1. Thanks everybody for watching. This has been the Doomcast. We'll see you next week.